Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and a very warm welcome to the Research Institute for Languages and Culture of Asia, or RILCA, at Mahidol University for the second international conference on situating the Indian diaspora in Asia. My name is Dr. Kanokwan Jayarat, Senior Researcher at the Center for Bharat Study, RILCA. It is an honor to serve as your Master of Ceremony for this event. On behalf of the organizing committee, I sincerely thank you for your presence today. The Center for Bharat Study at RILCA, Mahidol University has organized this conference and provided academic, logistical, and local support. We are pleased to collaborate with the Center for the Study of Indian Diaspora, CSID, at the University of Hyderabad, India. The expertise of our partners has significantly enriched the program and enhanced our collaboration. Together, we have curated a series of discussions to foster academic exchange among all participants. Over the next 2 days, we will examine diverse perspectives on situating the Indian diaspora in Asia, drawing on the insight and expertise for all participants. Please be informed that today's event is being photographed and recorded. Images, audio, and key content will be compiled for reporting purposes and for future public relation activity. The organizing committee kindly requests your permission to photograph, record audio, and record video throughout the event. If you have any concern or prefer not to be recorded, please inform our staff or the organizing team at your convenience. In addition, today's event is being live streamed by IPTV, Division of Information Technology, Mahidol University, via the online Facebook page, RILCA Mahidol University. For those joining us online now, we kindly invite you to like and share the live stream to help spread the word about today's event. Thank you very much. Before we proceed to the event, I would like to invite everyone to join in expressing our deepest sorrow and profound gratitude for the boundless royal grace of Her Majesty Queen Sirikit, the Queen Mother. May I now kindly request our guests to rise and observe 1 minute of silence in remembrance and in tribute to Her Majesty. Thank you. Please be seated. To commence our program, we will hold a traditional lamp lighting ceremony, which symbolizes the pursuit of knowledge and wisdom and signify an auspicious beginning, known as Deep Prajwalan in Indian traditions. This ceremony inaugurates significant gathering and is believed to foster a positive atmosphere. Lighting the lamp honors the value of enlightenment, harmony, and cultural respect that are central to today's conference. Distinguished guests, keynote speaker, dignitary, and partner representatives, please join us for the lamp lighting ceremony. I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Nantiya Dongphummet, Director of RILCA ค่ะ Assistant Professor ดรเรนูเหมือนจันเชย Chair of the Center for Para Study RILCA Assistant Professor ดรนรงค์เดชพันธภูมิ Deputy Director for Research and International Relations RILCA Professor Dr. Ajaya Kumar Sahu Director of the Center for the Study of Indian Diaspora CSID University of Hyderabad India Professor Dr. Amarachip Roshan Advisor of the Center for Para Study RILCA Assistant Professor Dr. จิรพัฒน์ประพันธวิทยาปัทมศรี Awardee Year 2022 ค่ะ Mr. Sushil Saraf Mr. Sunil Kothari Mr. Sutham Sajjaphimukh Mr. Amit Waiga and Mr. Sushil Thanuga and Associate Professor Dr. Sophana Sri Champa Please join us to light the lamp ไม่เป็นไรค่ะพี่ก็ไม่รู้ค่ะคุณสมทรงThis is the auspicious ceremony of India called Dipbachwalana. In every ceremony that show the auspicious new beginning or auspicious starting, we will light the lamp. Please come to join us on the stage for the lighting the lamp. And we will take a group photo for lighting the lamp ceremony as well. We believe that the light of the lamp will give us the bright future and also to dispelling the darkness. We can sharing and also we can lighting together as well. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you, dignitaries. May this light guide our discussion and inspire a productive and engaging program for all participants. Thank you. Again, I would like to say, may this light guide our discussion and inspire a productive and engaging program for all participants. For the next program, we will have an opening remarks and welcome address. Yes. Waiting, please waiting a minute for adjusting the podium. Next, I invite Assistant Professor Dr. Renu Muanchanchoi, Chair of the Center for Bharat Study at RILCA Mahidol University, to deliver the opening remarks. Please.
สวัสดีค่ะ and namaste ค่ะ Distinguished international scholars, fellow researchers and friends, it is profound honor to welcome you all to the opening of this conference dedicated to the Indian diaspora in Asia. As the chair of the Center for Bharat Study here at RILCA, I find it deeply moving to see such a gathering of minds focus on a community that has acted as a bridge between civilizations for centuries. The Indian diaspora is not merely a demographic phenomenon, it is a living, breathing testament to the resilience of culture. In the context of Asia, and specifically here in Thailand, the diaspora has woven itself into the very fabric of our national identity, contributing to our economy, our culinary landscape, and our spiritual life, while maintaining a distinct and vibrant heritage. I would like to take this moment to express my deepest gratitude to two individuals whose vision has paved the way for today's proceeding. First, Associate Professor Dr. Sophana Sichampa, whose foundation works at the Center for Bharat Study continue to guide our mission. Her dedication to the fostering Thai-Indian understanding is the bedrock upon which we build. Equally, I must acknowledge Professor Amarjwa Loshan. His tireless efforts in building academic corridor between India and Southeast Asia have been invaluable. His presence and mentorship have consistently elevated the caliber of our scholarly pursuits. Last but not least, I would also like to thank RILCA administrative team, including Mahidol University, for their regular support for our mission. Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ
Okay. Thank you, Assistant Professor Dr. Renu Muanchanchoi, for your insightful remarks. Next, may I invite Associate Professor Dr. Nantiya Dongpungmet, Director of the Research Institute for Languages and Culture of Asia at Mahidol University, to deliver the welcome address.
Excellencies, honorable guests, scholars, delegates, on behalf of the Research Institute for Languages and Culture of Asia's Mahidol University, I am really great pleasure to welcome you to Mahidol University. The theme of this international conference entitled Situating India Diaspora in Asia holds significant weight in our institute. When we look at the Indian community in Thailand, we see more than just a migrant history. We see a common shared heritage, from the linguistic roots to by Sanskrit to the Thai language, to the shared philosophical traditions. The diaspora acts as a custodian of a shared soul between our two nations. There is immense value in Indian diaspora as a subject of academic inquiry. They are the ultimate practitioner of the soft power, carrying values of non-violence, entrepreneurship, and pluralism across borders. However, while we celebrate what we know, we must also look toward further research avenues. We need to document the changing identity of the fourth and the fifth generation diaspora, the impact of digital connectivity on the cultural preservation, and the evolving economic synergies within the Asian framework. I want to personally thank Associate Professor Dr. Sopana Sijampa and Professor Amarajit Lojan for their instrumental roles in bringing this international dialogue to RILCA. Their expertise in international relations and cultural history had made this collaboration possible. As the director of RILCA, I am committed to ensuring the insight generated here do not remain within these walls, but serve as a catalyst for future international partnerships and collaborations. Well, once again, welcome to RILCA at Mahidol University, and I look forward to the brilliant scholarship this conference will produce. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Nantiya Dongpungmes, for your warm welcome. Next, as the President of Mahidol University, Professor Piyamit Sithala is unable to attend due to other important engagements. Associate Professor Dr. Sopana Sijampa, Chair of the Organizing Committee, has been assigned to read his message. Welcome Ajahn Sopana to deliver his message for us.
Namaste, good morning. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to inaugurate this international conference on the theme Situating Indian Diaspora in Asia. At Mahidol University, we pride ourselves on academic excellence and social contribution. Within this framework, the Center for Bharat Studies, or CBS, at the Research Institute for Languages and Cultures of Asia has emerged as a jewel in our crown. The high-quality work being produced by the CBS, ranging from intricate manuscript studies to contemporary sociological studies, is a testament to what can be achieved when passion meets academic rigor. I must acknowledge the guiding light of the CBS, Associate Professor Dr. Sopana Sijampa, as the former chair and current advisor of the center. Her leadership has transformed the CBS into a premier hub for the Indic studies in the region. Her vision ensures that Mahidol remains at the forefront of this vital field. I would also like to extend a special welcome to Professor Amarajit Lojan. He has been a steadfast friend to Mahidol and RILCA for many years. His high academic contributions and his role in facilitating international scholarly networks have been vital to our internationalization efforts. We value your long-standing partnership and your commitment to this university. The Indian diaspora has played a pivotal role in shaping the Asian century, and its trajectory offers valuable insights into the broader history of globalization. I'm confident that the deliberations of this conference will make a meaningful contribution to advancing our understanding of Asian connectivity, as well as to the development of high-quality scholarly publications. Last but not least, Mahidol University is grateful to see the RILCA collaborating with the Central University of Hyderabad, a premier academic institution of India. Professor Acharya Kumar Sahu and his contribution to diasporic studies would be another academic milestone for CBS. Moreover, I also would like to thank Kun Sunil Kothari and Kun Sushil Saraf and other friends for the regular support. I declare this conference officially open and wish you all great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Sopana Sijampa. Next, we are honored to welcome Professor Dr. Acharya Kumar Sahu, Director of the Center for the Study of Indian Diaspora at the University of Hyderabad, India. As our keynote speaker, may I introduce for biodata of Professor Sahu for a little. Professor Sahu is a leading authority in international migration, transnationalism, and diaspora studies. His research and editorial leadership of the journal South Asian Diaspora have significantly advanced understanding of the Indian diaspora, especially regarding identity and transnational connection. He will deliver a lecture titled Theorizing Homeland Perspective from the Indian Diaspora. Please join me in welcoming Professor Sahu to the stage.
Namaskar. Good morning to all of you, all the delegates, and it's my pleasure to give this keynote address to this August gathering. In this presentation, I am going to deal with like the theorizing the homeland through the lens of diaspora studies and argue that diasporas or homeland both cannot be separated, and since the diaspora concept has already been discussed in depth from various disciplines with attention to its important role in globalization, hence it is no longer a homogeneous concept. However, homeland, an inherent part of the diasporic studies or diasporic experiences, is mostly viewed in the literature as a geographical place or space where the diasporic genealogies are traced. I argue that the homeland is no longer just a myth of return or an imagination or a feeling of nostalgia for the diasporic communities, but rather it is a part and parcel of the diasporic lives today, which is resonating in the transnational spaces they create. So homeland plays an important role in shaping the diasporic communities in this age of transnational migration. This paper is divided into two parts. In the first part, after briefly discussing the concept of the diaspora studies, I will show how the term diaspora has lost its original meaning when you impose super diverse concept, and how transnational migration has emerged as a successor to the diaspora studies. And in the second part, I will situate this argument from the perspective of the homeland, that is India versus the Indian diaspora, and so how homeland is constructed, maintained, and even shared by both the diasporic and transnational communities. As evidenced by the corpus of literature available from the last 3 decades, the term diaspora has become a key trope in the humanities today. Diasporas exist because there is a socio-cultural and trans-political linkage with the homeland. My argument in this paper is that diasporas cannot exist without a homeland, and that the homeland benefits from recognizing the diaspora, especially in an era of transnational migration and globalization. As long as the homeland recognizes, patronizes, and praises its diasporas, the diaspora remains not only socially and culturally connected to the homeland, but also act as an economic and political asset. The diaspora debate over the last 3 decades has taken many twists and turns, and by recognizing the many of the old and lost diasporas as well as new ethno-national diasporas. With reference to the global diasporas, we have seen how diaspora has played a crucial role in the political and economic development of the homeland. One may cite the example of like the Jewish diasporas, the Armenian diasporas, or Indian diaspora, or any other global diasporas, which have played a crucial role in the development of the homeland. The contribution of the homeland to the successful restoration of diaspora communities, however, has been largely neglected. The question arises, why do diasporas become so important to the homeland? And vice versa. Like, how do globalization and transnational migration facilitate the nexus between the diaspora and homeland? Diasporic groups are often considered as outsiders by the host societies, or also by by definition they are outsiders in their homeland. In any case, they are vulnerable to discrimination and exploitation in the land of their settlement, and not infrequently, many of them have also remained outside their concern of the nation state of their origin until recently. Although the diasporas are initially formed by migration flows, not all migrations result in the diasporic communities or diaspora formation. The launch of the journal Diaspora, a Journal of Transnational Studies in 1991 testifies not only to the importance achieved by the concept as an instrument of analysis, but also to the desire to do away with the sharply defined borders of the nation state. Subsequently, several other scholarly journals began to appear under the title Diaspora, which justified the importance of the concept in this age of transnational migration. Sociologists, anthropologists, cultural critics, and historians have, in the past 3 decades, have put to the test essentialist definitions of culture and nation. The concept of nation as an unalterable, homogeneous entity has been seriously questioned today. Although the idea of the nation should not be completely cast aside, after all, nations remain powerful, important political and administrative or cultural units. New historical developments demand that the nation state should recognize the limits of its territoriality. To put it differently, nations are urged to reconsider and transcend the old concept of boundaries and frontiers so that they can become just one side in a new transnational culture. And diasporic thinking has debatably become one tool in this boundary transcending analysis. The concept of diaspora has different connotation for different diasporic communities. While for the ancient Greeks, which was associated with the concept of like migration and colonization, for the Jews, Africans, and Palestinians or Armenians, the term had a more ominous connotation. As Robin Cohen rightly argues that diaspora signified a collective trauma, a banishment, where one dreamed of the home but lived in exile. For others such as Paul Gilroy or Stuart Hall, diaspora is defined not by biographical connectivity across geographical areas or political boundaries, but rather by differentiation. That is, the diasporic communities continue to define themselves as distinct from their host society, the homeland, and other groups. In defining the concept of diaspora, Roger Brubaker adds 3 core elements, that is, the dispersion in space, orientation to a homeland, and boundary maintenance. While the concept of diaspora has been subject to various interpretations today, its geographical and territorial dimensions are clear. For instance, Stephen Vortebeck argues that the term diaspora is often applied to describe practically any population that is considered deterritorialized or transnational. However, many scholars put forward a unified definition of diaspora that substantiates this discussion. That is, diasporas are although scattered geographically, they are held together by factors such as a common ethnic identity and a collective relationship towards the original homeland. Today, the concept of diaspora has broadened to encompass almost all types of immigrant communities. For example, Kheching Toloyan, the editor of the journal Diaspora, in his preface to the first issue of the journal, mentioned that the concept diaspora refers to the entire Semitic domain that includes the words like immigrant, expatriate, refugees, guest workers, exile communities, overseas communities, and ethnic communities. I argue that such overgeneralization not only diminishes the power and status attached to the concept of diaspora, but also significantly challenges the theoretical and methodological rigor that scholars have produced over the last several years. Further, like imposing super diversity as a concept which emphasizes the often chaotic multiplication of social categories such as legal status, gender, educational level, within the immigrant group into the traditional understanding of the diaspora has diluted the concept original focus on the trauma, homeland connections, or collective memory. By focusing on the fluid, individualistic, and everyday experiences, super diversity shifts the focus from a bounded group with a shared political goal to a dispersed individual experience, effectively leading to a diasporization of all migration. While Stephen Bharat is very clear in discussing super diversity as a result of globalization and transnational migration, I still argue that modern diaspora studies should focus on ethnic and national groups. Super diversity only challenges this methodological groupaging. For example, when everything becomes diverse, the specific shared characteristics that define a diaspora are lost. Traditionally, a diaspora is defined by a group defined by a deep collective and often nostalgic relationship with an ancestral homeland, often involving a desire to return or a commitment to its maintenance. Super diverse framework, however, focus on fragmented, multifaceted identities in which homeland is just one of many influences on identity or is entirely irrelevant. The proliferation of the term in a globalized world means it is now applied to almost any mobile population, losing its unique analytical purpose. That's why Roger Brubaker rightly put it, if everyone is diasporic, then no one is distinctively so. More recently, even like scholars have gone beyond even juxtaposing the diaspora with migrant communities living within a nation state, emphasizing the linguistic and cultural differences or alienations. Often they refer to it as internal diasporas or diasporas at home. Others also use the concept of diaspora to situate the case of temporary migrants, circular migrants, or even student migrants. I argue that this juxtaposition not only undermines the very idea of homeland but also seek to dilute the traditional and politically charged definition of diaspora. Instead, they should be studied within the broader context of transnational communities, which I will discuss in the paper in the later part of this paper. By saying this, I also emphasize that the definition of diaspora should not be fluid, yet it should not be also fixed or rigid as well. I would prefer to use the word diasporization here, a concept used by Robin Cohen, which challenged the earlier restrictive definition of diaspora, which was focused almost exclusively on forced exile, to expand the concept by including various forms of dispersion such as migration, labor, trade, or imperial expansion. Now, how do the transnational migration become a successor to the diaspora studies? Since the late 1980s and early 1990s, globalization has fundamentally transformed the cross-border migration, accelerated its volume, and intensified its connection to the global economic and technological shift. While the proportion of international migrants relative to the total global population has remained relatively stable around 3 to 4% of the absolute number of international migrants today, which has almost doubled from 1990, which is around 150 million to now 300 million in 2024. These trends show that many international migrants later become permanent citizens of the countries they immigrated to, thereby forming the diasporas. The relationship between the diaspora and the homeland falls under the broader domain of international relations, that is, as it involves at least two countries that formally permit their subject to interact with one another. Even in the absence of such formal understanding and other constant relations of an imaginary kind could also exist through construction of structures and institutions that recreate the places of origin in the diasporic communities. Today, the diasporic communities go beyond the host nation state and homeland to network with their communities dispersed around the globe. The emergence of such networking spanning several countries is most appropriately described as transnationalism. According to Thomas Feist, transnational communities encompass diasporas, but not all transnational communities are diasporas. Diaspora communities like the Chinese in Chinatown or Indians in ethnic enclaves of Little India everywhere in the world have built homes away from home, but transnational network of the contemporary era have facilitated members of these communities to be here and there simultaneously. Concepts such as transnational social field by Thomas Feist and transnational spaces by Thomas Feist and transnational social field by Peggy Levitt and Nina Glick-Schiller all discuss how these social field or spaces are constructed from transnational network, which in turn are built upon transnational family networks and networking among community organizations. These networks enable immigrants to maintain simultaneous connection with two or more nation states. Further, these networks are intensified by the globalization, deterritorialization, and continuous circulation of people, capital, information across the boundaries or countries. Such intensified transnational networks constitute a single community with a global spread. This is best illustrated by Arjuna Appadurai, who shows how globalization has interconnected societies and economies across the national boundaries through a compelling analysis of scapes. The question arises, like, why is transnational migration, which has emerged as a significant framework in the migration studies today, viewed as a successor to the diaspora or traditional diaspora studies? One possible answer to this question is that while both fields analyze the movement of people across borders, transnationalism focuses on the regular and ongoing and multi-layer connections that migrants maintain between their host societies as well as homeland or home societies. That is, moving beyond the often nostalgic homeland-centered focus on the traditional diaspora studies. Additionally, transnational migration and transnational networks have significant socio-economic and cultural and political impact on migrants themselves, the host society, and the homeland, which I'll show in my next section on the homeland and the Indian diaspora. A more sophisticated understanding of the homeland and diaspora nexus has emerged in the academic debate, especially after the publication of an essay titled The Impact of Homeland Upon Diaspora by Walker Connor. Robin Cohen here argues that there are mainly three versions of homeland or in the diaspora studies. That is, the solid, which is like the unquestioned need for a homeland; ductile, that is an intermediate or more complex idea of homeland; and liquid, that is a postmodernist rendition of virtual home. Today, the power of diaspora as a tactic for connecting people to their places of origin has only grown. The sites, the means through which the diasporic identification is mobilized and where diaspora is represented and contested have also been multiplied. A number of important players have entered into this field, most notably the homeland government. There has, for instance, been a reimagination of the relationship between the domicile, citizenship, and belonging in India from one that is exclusive and coterminous to one that recognizes that deterritorialized populations may be mobilized to invest in the territories they and their ancestors left behind. With a population of more than 30 million spread across 110 countries, the numbers involved are vast. This reimagining of territoriality is expressed through emotional register with an evocative call to feel the love and affection found in the Mother India. But not all Indians are recalled in the same way. The Indian government also itself distinguishes between the PIOs, people of Indian origin, who profess their allegiance to India while relinquishing the citizenship rights, and the NRIs, non-resident Indians, those who are at least sojourners and Indian citizens living in other countries, in other words. The designation of NRI in particular has always had a strong economic connotation. The government has long called upon its diasporas to help develop the territorial located nation state, indeed encouraged it through offering attractive investments, packages and financial concessions. This reverberates through the development machinery, with diasporic development becoming a key strategy for various bodies under the United Nations, international development agencies and non-governmental organizations. PIOs, on the other hand, are often recalled through language of cultural continuity. a continuity, but that too has economic potential for that. Robert Kaiser here argues that although homelands are most often depicted as politically neutral and cultural spaces that are both neutral as well as natural and eternal, in reality homeland are politically constructed places towards which the population is territorialized. In the case of India, like the prominence of homeland as a protector of diaspora has also largely been a recent phenomenon. Whether it is the large-scale rescue efforts by the government during the crisis such as COVID-19 pandemic or ethnic and political wars in the host such as some examples here, but the homeland is now in a position to safeguard the diaspora by considering they are the part of the homeland. The proactive Indian embassies in labor and NRI dominant countries, for instance, and elsewhere in the world have also now played a significant role in protecting and supporting the Indians during the time of crisis. Academic debates in India, for example, the notion of diaspora and its application too is a very recent. In the 1989, for instance, the Sociological Bulletin, the official journal of Indian Sociological Society, which has brought out a special issue on Indian diaspora, Indians abroad, in which 8 out of the 9 papers in the special issue focused on Indian communities abroad, but not a single paper referred to them as diasporic. Rather, the scholars use the word like Indian immigrants or overseas Indians. In 1994, an international conference on Indian diaspora was organized by the University of Hyderabad with the objective of establishing a center exclusively to study the Indian diaspora. It was at this conference that terms such as diaspora and transnational Indians were first used in India. The demands for organized study of Indian diaspora, their expectations, and their contribution and the scope of collaboration in various sectors of the society resulted in the establishment of the Center for Study of Indian Diaspora in 1996 at the University of Hyderabad. Subsequently, the center was actively involved with the Government of India to develop a comprehensive policy on the Indian diaspora. For instance, the High-Level Committee on Indian Diaspora appointed by Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee in September 2000 represented a major and transformative shift in India's policy towards its overseas communities. Chaired by Dr. L.M. Singhvi, the committee was tasked with reviewing the status of the people of Indian origin and non-resident Indians and recommending a new and constructive framework to strengthen the ties between India and Indian diaspora. But before undertaking such a large study of Indian diaspora, a background discussion and additional information from policymakers, academicians and diasporic members were necessary. Hence, the Minister of External Affairs assigned the center to organize an international workshop that would allow all these members come together to participate easily. And the center successfully organized the workshop in 2002 and provided feedback to the government, which was acknowledged in the policy report that came out later titled Report of the High-Level Committee on Indian Diaspora. But why does homeland matter to the diaspora and vice versa? Why homeland also matter to the diaspora and diaspora matter to the homeland? The rise of the global south and within it, India's emergence as one of Asia's superpower are noteworthy in the light of the Indian diaspora. The most significant factor in the Indian diaspora's prominence today is its substantial economic influence, which benefits both the host society as well as the homeland. Remittances from the Indian diaspora today, for instance, reached a record high, not only impacting the expenditure of migrant households back home, but also strengthening the country's global economic standing. Additionally, remittances from the NRIs make a significant contribution to India's GDP, accounting for approximately 3.5% in 2023. Following the liberalization of Indian economy after the 1991 reforms, foreign direct investment (FDI) to India has increased from $97 million in 1991 to now $13 billion in 2023. Making a significant shift in attracting the global capital that led to the development of new industries and creation of new jobs, and thus becoming an attractive destination for the diasporic and foreign investors. The diaspora also benefits the destination countries significantly by providing a vital resource for the labor that addresses specific shortages and skill gaps across various sectors. A prime example of Indian diaspora's contribution to the homeland is India's Model Village program, or the Model Development Program. The diaspora, through philanthropy, investment, and knowledge transfer, helped transformed the villages into modern hubs with improved infrastructure, including solar lights, water system, and community centers. Several examples of such development can be found in states such as Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Punjab, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. Although not directly involved, the diaspora's contribution aligns with the central government's Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana. This model village program, which features the diaspora involvement, is also being promoted exclusively through Bollywood movies such as like Virasat or Swadesh, and social media platforms like Facebook, X, and Instagram. The Indian diaspora plays a significant role in the political spheres of both the homeland and the host societies. By becoming a strategic asset as a lobbying force and a cultural ambassador, the diaspora shapes foreign policy and promotes mutual understanding between the homeland and the societies in which they reside. For example, the presence of Indian origin leaders in the top position in countries such as the USA, the UK, Portugal, Mauritius, Singapore, Trinidad and Tobago, and Ireland, among others, makes them like invaluable to the India's foreign policy and global influence. When the diaspora actively participate and influence the homeland government also reciprocates by creating ministries and diaspora-specific events such as the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas or No India program. The present Bharatiya Janata Party government under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji engages the Indian diaspora more actively by encouraging them to serve as the brand ambassador. Another dimension of Indian diaspora's powerful role discernible in the homeland politics is their direct participation and influence in the elections through substantial financial support and social media campaigns, which have often shaped the domestic public opinion and party narratives. The success of the BJP government in the last 3 consecutive elections, as well as the popularity of Sri Narendra Modi ji as Prime Minister of India, are prime examples. The strongest states where the diaspora influences is visible due to their demographic, economic and political strength are the states of Punjab, Gujarat, Kerala, where the NRIs who still hold an Indian passport travel to India to vote, volunteer in grassroots mobilization campaigns, besides holding public rallies in the diaspora itself to support the particular government. India's rich cultural heritage is also now gaining international recognition due to the contribution of the Indian diaspora. The promotion of Indian festivals such as Diwali and Holi, as well as the Indian cuisine such as music, dance, film, and traditional practices like yoga and Ayurveda, integrating them into the global cultural tapestry, is among the diaspora's noteworthy roles. For instance, following the popularity in the diaspora, the festival of Diwali is now recognized by the UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity, which was following the energetic display of fire artwork during the 2025 Diwali celebration at Ayodhya, Uttar Pradesh, where millions of diyas were illuminated simultaneously across the Sarai River Ghats to set a Guinness World Record. Similar to the event in the Ayodhya, in the diaspora, Indians attempted an event in February 2026 this year in Malaysia, where around 800 dancers performed a single choreographed piece showcasing the diverse Indian classical and folk dance forms in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which was included in Malaysia Book of Records. This reflects the mutual reinforcement of the homeland and the diaspora. Another such event that connects the diaspora to the homeland through the mutual engagement by the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji in April 2025 to attend the BIMSTEC summit in Bangkok, Thailand here, where he witnessed the Ramkian, the Thai adaptation of Ramayana, a cultural spectacle showcasing the deep historical and civilizational ties between India and Thailand. Hindi film industry, for example, popularly known as Bollywood, and the Indian arts industry have leveraged the diaspora to achieve immense popularity. They serve as powerful tool of India's soft power by spreading its rich culture through relatable stories, vibrant visuals, as well as themes of love, family and resilience, thereby creating a positive global image that resonates worldwide. Not only Bollywood, but also the regional film industry in India, particularly the South Indian film industry, has attracted the diaspora audiences. For instance, films such as RRR in Telugu, Jallikattu in Malayalam, Kantara in Kannada, and the documentary like The Elephant Whispers in Tamil are among the critically acclaimed films being promoted and loved by the diaspora audiences due to their themes of relationship between humanity and the nature, or friendship or love. Not to mention, Thailand is also the second most popular destination for Indian films productions, with more than 50 films. I think it is shooting here in Thailand. The Indian music industry is also in today heavily supported and promoted by the Indian diaspora, leading to numerous transnational collaborations. The Indian diaspora has been instrumental in popularizing both the Bollywood and independent music industries globally, particularly through the streaming services and live concert. The transnational reach of the music industry is now clearly visible. Through the internet, especially via the social media and streaming platforms like Spotify or YouTube, Indian music has gained not only diasporic popularity but also global visibility by connecting artists across the borders. Several instances where the blending of Bollywood and regional sounds with global genres such as pop and EDM and hip hop can be found. For instance, Ed Sheeran's Arman Malik's Two Step, or Nick Jonas and King's Mon Meri Jaan, or Karan Aujla's and Preston Pablo's Admiring You, or Thai singer like here in Tata Young's like collaboration with Pritham on the title track of the film Dhoom, and Akon and Vishal Sekhar's Chamak Challu. So all this showcases the fusion, broader and cultural reach and shared cultural heritage by them. The diaspora's promotion of Indian dishes, for example, including like butter chicken or Hyderabad biryani or masala dosa, as well as fusion dishes like Indo-Chinese chili chicken, or like in Thai, for example, masman curry, are all now widely available in restaurants worldwide today. Food blogs often function as a virtual museum of recipes, preserving family traditions and regional culinary identities that might otherwise be lost due to migration and assimilation. They popularize traditional and authentic Indian recipes in the diaspora by fostering a sense of community and authentic Indian recipes in the diaspora and connection to the homeland, while also adapting to the recipes of the global lifestyles that facilitate the intergenerational transfer of culinary knowledges, especially among the younger generation of diasporic members. Indian ethnic wear, which serves as a cultural bridge between the homeland and the diaspora, strengthen the Indian identity when celebrated globally. For instance, the Indian contribution to the Thai textile industry has a long history. Indian textiles, particularly from Gujarat and South India, influenced the Thai royalty and fashion with specialized designs. Today, Indian conglomerates such as Aditya Birla Group play a key role in Thailand's textile and clothing industries, wearing traditional Indian clothes such as saris, lehengas and kurtas during special occasions like religious and cultural festivals, as well as in social functions which consider as a tangible link to the India's rich cultural heritage. Recently, Indian ethnic wear also being promoted and popularized not only by social media influencers but also by Bollywood movies and also by renowned designers such as Sabyasachi or Gaurav Gupta, who have all showcased their creations on the global platforms like in Cannes Film Festival or to Met Gala, which has been well received by the Indian diaspora. Today, the digital platforms and e-commerce platforms, especially the Amazon Fashion, Flipkart Fashion or Myntra or Ajio, enable the Indian diaspora communities to easily access the diverse range of authentic Indian clothing that was once difficult to source outside of India. Indian spiritual leaders and spiritual gurus, for example, have also strengthened the diaspora bonds through visits of in the creating of an ashrams and globally. They not only provide spiritual guidance and promote Indian culture globally, but also establish ashrams and temples and meditation centers in the diaspora, which serves as a central hub for the Indian community to gather and celebrate Indian festivals, thereby helping to preserve the Indian values and traditions. For instance, the Arya Samaj and Swaminarayan Sanstha in Bangkok, for example, offer specific Vedic Indian-based spiritual and religious practices, promoting prominent leaders such as Swami Vivekananda, Swami Sri Aurobindo, Swami Prabhupada, and so many others who have massive transnational following. They promote the Indian philosophy of Vasudevam Kutumbakam through their traditional teaching of community and services. The significant visibility and influence of the powerful Indian diaspora also visible in the literary field as well, where Indian diasporic writers explore the unique diasporic experience, hybrid identities, a sense of loss, and idealized home through their literary works. notable literary figures such as V.S. Naipaul, Salman Rushdie, Jhumpa Lahiri, Kiran Desai, Amitabh Ghosh, Bharti Mukherjee and Rohinton Mistry, among others who have achieved global recognition and won major literary awards including the Nobel Prize, Booker Prize and Pulitzer Prize by bringing new perspective, themes and styles to English literature, thereby solidifying Indian diaspora's powerful presence in the global literary circles. To conclude, this presentation showed how homeland is reimagined by the diaspora and how it can play a crucial role in restoring the lost identity. Diasporas now play an active role not only in their respective nations but also in the homeland. So there is a reciprocal relationship between the homeland and the diaspora, strengthened by factors such as globalization and advances in transportation, communication and information technology. But where do you go now from here? As I put this question at the beginning, I quote here Jagdish Bhagwati, one of the Colombian university professor, who said in his essays like Borders Beyond Control, that rich countries' ability to control immigration has diminished because borders are no longer effectively stoppable. He advised like shifting policy towards managing inflows rather than attempting to curtail them. Hence, international migration is expected to continue to dominate the world in the coming years, as well as the growth of the diasporas. So there is a significant potential in the Indian diaspora studies, and I hope we'll all contribute to this growing field. Thank you so much.